Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Friday, September 9th, 2016. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized soul presences are child souls from the smaller subatomic.
That's true.
The era of misdirection continues. Somebody's arguing that it isn't an era of misdirection, but I don't really know what they base that on.
That's true.
Because the best way to get what seems to be accurate messages seems to be from the children of the smaller subatomic themselves.
That's true.
And they sense things in this dimension the way we sense things in other dimensions. That they are able to say, look, something's wrong here. I can't quite tell what, but you need to look at this situation.
That's true.
And then we see, oh gracious, that is a big problem. Thank you for pointing it out. But there's no direction from above that's dependable. The direction from above seems to vacillate between well-intentioned but ill-informed.
That's true.
And direction that's straight up poorly intentioned.
Yes, that's true.
Direction from presences who don't want there to be a search for truth, who feel very threatened by a search for truth.
That's true.
That's what we base that statement on, that we're in an era of misdirection, to answer your question. And in an era of misdirection, we are going with game theory for all stages of this work. If it doesn't make sense, we shouldn't be doing it.
That's true.
And game theory right now would say we would continue to work with what the smaller subatomic children are able to accomplish in all levels of this process in terms of shining the light on things that need attention.
That's true.
And with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin, and they're right away talking. The smaller subatomic children are talking to some of the voices who have been speaking down to us, and the voices are trying to bring hope to the situation, they say, and they're saying funny things.
That's true.
And being entertaining, but they're saying things that aren't truthful. And when one of the core assignments is to upgrade the standards of integrity to that which will actually work to manifest the divine plan, then these joking stunts are unhelpful rather than helpful.
That's true.
What is the right thing to do right now in order to upgrade the standards of integrity to that which will actually work to manifest the divine plan? Again, I see that unplugging motion.
That's true.
That usually means someone higher up doesn't want to listen to what's being channeled here, that it's too inconvenient and they just want to unplug.
That's true.
Again, when I head in the direction of bifurcation, they say, isn't Ra worth salvaging? And if he's salvaged, then the answer will be yes. And if he isn't salvaged, then the answer will be it wasn't time well spent. So
that's true.
We're not able to answer that until we know how it's going to turn out.
That's true.
And they say, what about no one left behind? Yes, but what about I don't want to do it and you can't make me?
That's true.
We can't make him do anything that he doesn't want to do. We can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do.
That's true.
What is the right thing to do right now in order to manifest the divine plan for the smaller subatomic, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? But now,
what is the right thing?
It still feels right for the smaller subatomic children to try to move up through Ra himself.
That's true.
Let's see if it works.
Someone is speaking, and what they're saying is it looks like the flow of smaller subatomic children is moving up through these bodies at this dimensional level, and then it gets up to the dimensional level where Leslie Leonard is and where the soul of Ra has been, and then it hits a point right under the soul of Ra's feet, and it's like a break point, and it scatters around him.
A wall, a stopper.
That's true. And it's right about at the level of Leslie Leonard's physical knees.
Right.
It comes up a little bit into his layer and then scatters.
It's creating discomfort in his knees,
That's
but
true.
more to the point, it's blocking Leslie's soul plan.
That's true.
Ra, please listen. Please listen. Leslie's soul plan is what? Study the secret life of the smaller subatomic. Is blocking the smaller subatomic flow to prevent it from coming up through Leslie's heart and mind. Is that likely to support or subvert his soul plan? No, he does not want to hear that.
Does not want to hear that.
I don't. Somebody's talking to someone else that's overhearing a conversation, and one person turns to the other and says, we've got to let him go right now. He's not ready to learn. There's no vibration of learning. Oh, this might be the guy who said that before.
Yes, that's true.
There's no vibration of learning.
And the other person who he's speaking to doesn't want to hear that at all.
No, that is super inconvenient information. All right, let's start to bifurcate. All of us who are willing to acknowledge inconvenient realities.
That's true.
To the search for truth's central axis and all others flung away. And what do I know? This will only work to the extent that we ourselves are willing to acknowledge inconvenient realities.
That's true.
So it's crucial to be able to, or be willing to look really ugly truths in the face and say, well, that might be how it is. Okay. What do I know? I know that it's helpful to really come to grips with what the worst case scenario is. And often, unfortunately, in these times of collapsing divine support, the worst case scenario is what's happening.
That's true.
And sometimes it's even worse than what we're thinking is the worst case scenario.
That's true.
Because we're only able to see what we're willing to see.
Yes, that's true.
So just in this personal situation, we would assume we have major disruption with repair people having to come through and fix these problems that have been created for us this last week through the poltergeist activity, which has been extreme and excessive.
Extreme and excessive.
And it could be literally, not exaggerating, $50,000 worth of damage that they've created in 2 weeks.
That's true.
And to not acknowledge that would be not being willing to look at an inconvenient reality.
That's true.
What do I know? I know that we are part of Leslie Leonard. He's a larger physical dimension presence, and that we have the right, and some might say the responsibility, to tend our airspace.
That's
and so we can move into Leslie's physical body and open up those blockages that Ra is placing there. I'm positive with good intent.
That's true.
But with very misguided thinking. And what do I know? It smells like addiction.
This is true.
Energy smells like addiction. Ra is addicted to some lie. He's addicted to something that isn't true.
That's true.
And it's just super inconvenient that it isn't true, but it still isn't true. We don't get to say what's real. We just get to decide how effectively we wish to interact with it.
That's true.
Let's open this up inside of Leslie. And to Leslie, it feels like increased blood flow.
That's true.
Through his knees. Like sudden warmth up in his upper legs.
That's true.
Let's keep opening it up.
Maybe we bring the aim here points front and center again for Leslie and for all of us. That could be what's missing.
Yes, so much of our soul plans for almost everybody are no longer applicable because other people are saying, no, I'm not going to do it. When we have an era of oppositional defiant disorder, an epidemic of oppositional defiant disorder, nobody is living with integrity with their sacred vows that they make to Source or even to each other.
That's true.
And so everybody else's soul plans have to shift to accommodate the people who aren't going to do it, which is almost everyone. And
That's true.
so let's again just feel how much of the soul plan has to go, of the previously existing soul plan, the ones
That's
that
true.
the presences are locked into, how much has to be pushed off the table because the other people aren't going to do it. And it's at least 60%.
That's true.
At least. We just push it into the trash. It's done. It's over. As we're pushing that which is no longer possible off the table, what the voices have been calling the aim here point starts to rotate into view.
That's true.
And it's small, really thin and small,
That's true.
but it's possible.
Yes, it's actually possible. I can feel
It's
that.
actually possible. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel like what any of us want it to be, but
That's
it's
true.
possible. And why are we aiming here? Somebody's asking me. Because this is what's possible. All of that is no longer possible because other people aren't going to do their part.
That's true.
There's a lot over here that's not possible either because other people aren't going to do their part. But
That's true.
this little sliver that does not look appealing is possible.
That's true.
And so we have the choice of aiming for impossibilities that aren't going to happen,
That's true.
or to aim for something that's possible. And it doesn't make sense to aim for anything that's impossible.
That's true.
Why not aim for something that's possible? And so what if it isn't appealing? We can find something to love about it. Look for the gifts.
That's true.
My attention is brought to that dead child in the larger dimension.
Yes, I see him.
He's like a ghostly presence in a building that those other presences moved into somehow.
That's true.
And he's the clearest voice in the room.
That's
He's the one we
true.
should be listening to. Listen to the little dead boy.
That's true.
What now, in order to manifest the divine plan for the smaller subatomic?
No matter what
Anyone else does or doesn't do. Let's ask this. No, I was going to ask him if he's willing to fly down the aim here pillar, but that doesn't really feel right.
No, that's true.
How about we just call up the smaller subatomic children? That also doesn't feel right. They're bad people down there.
That's true.
What now, in order to manifest the divine plan for the smaller subatomic, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? I see what's happening.
Yes.
Nothing really feels great with regard to these aim here points. It all feels extremely inconvenient and
That's
not
true.
good. But
That's true.
it's the only thing that's possible. We're each of us going to have to do things that we don't want to do.
That's true.
And boy, howdy, that has certainly been our experience for the last 5 years.
That's true.
And longer. And so to that dead child, we would say, are you willing to fly down through this aim here column until you get down to those people who are trying to keep the smaller subatomic children from coming through, and see if they'll listen to you? You're much larger than they are.
That's true.
And maybe they'll listen to you, and ask them if they want to go to the light. And then you can take them up with you, and then maybe the smaller subatomic children can come up through that space that they're blocking. Are you willing? Maybe. Not really.
Not really, no.
Okay, never mind.
That's true.
Let's reach down and see if we can get those presences. They're in a smaller subatomic level, and just draw them through us, not to us. Hand them up to the light.
That's true.
And intend to crunch away anything that's untrue and leave only that which is true about these presences. It's kind of like drawing up a trauma rope and handing it up.
That's true.
Somebody seems willing to pull on the trauma rope if I hand it to them.
I feel that.
Okay. We can do this. We'll just pull up the clogs and hand them up. Now we know what to do for now.
That's true.
This is only clear to Leslie's head. Like
This is true.
His head is still clogged.
Clogged.
Well, it's stupid to stop if Leslie's got a clogged head.
That's true.
Let's see if we can pull it all the way through Leslie's head, and through that attic space, and through that room of 5 where those presences were meeting.
Yes. And where the dead child is.
And where the dead child is. And on up.
I feel clearing feelings in the head.
I do too. Well, we're going to have to continue to work on this all day, because all of this, there's just the tiniest little flow of smaller subatomic child refugee.
That's true.
People. All right. Live streaming it way up past Ra. Who can see that Ra is sabotaging Leslie's soul plan? I see hands up.
I see hands up.
Who is willing to stop that? Don't let Ra hurt himself like that. He's hurting himself so badly. He said so many times, stop me if I'm doing something like that. Don't let me rack up bad karma. He's racking up bad karma.
That's true.
Who cares about Ra? Does anybody care about him enough to stop him from doing this? He's not himself. No. All right. It's up to us.
That's true. Saying to the closing process, stay inside the column of light. Go as if you intend to actually arrive at a consistent source of
significantly higher vibrations.
And don't stop until you get there. And when you get there, ask for the grade. And ask for the vibrations
to be raised. And if they can't raise the vibration, then you aren't in the right place. You've stopped too low. Keep going.
Keep going.
Expect you'll stop too low many times.
That's true.
And need to keep going many times.
That's true.
All right.
Sending up the word.